want us less and could not guess. Just regress, not unreal, simple and plain. That's just fine, that's just one of my nights. Don't let the days go by. Could have been easier on you. Glycerin. Alright. Alright. Oh, we are stuck. Alright. How's it going, party people? Sorry, I'm just not 100% at all. Luckily. Oh, hey, Scott, you're already here. Hey, bro. What's it called? Today is, I don't know if you could tell by the color of my nose, I'm not doing too well today. So, just bear with me. I still wanted to get a few ideas out there. I also wanted to take a second to actually thank my friend Scott for putting up with some of the shit that I talk about. Because, I mean, you know, you trust your friends. You trust your friends when you're trying to talk about it, and sometimes your problems can seem repetitive. Because, you know, a single problem can take up your entire day and take up every aspect of your mind, and you'll analyze it all day. Excuse me. So that's why I try to put about analyzing people sucks, because, you know, there's a lot of times where I just feel like I lay out, I don't know, sometimes I feel like my bullshit is just too much. And so I wanted to thank Scott, at the same time apologize, because of the shit that he hasn't, you know, I'm sure being friends with me isn't that easy. And, yeah, you know, I have so many goddamn anger issues. And, yeah, he's just a good friend that balances me out. It calms me down when I really need it. So, you know, this bud is for you, alright? Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. So, have you guys noticed the theme song is still being a cover of Glycerin? And I don't know. In a way, I thought it kind of... I mean, for one, I could never put this song out and, you know, do anything with it, you know. But to me, it's just a great song. And I don't know. I thought I did a reasonably good job with it. And so... So... Oh, man. I have to listen to my parents screaming about bills. So yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, it's actually scientifically proven that overanalyzation is a sign of a high IQ. And so, I mentioned yesterday that I wanted to get into this subject real quick because I found it fascinating. It's been kind of on the back burner for a little while, and you know, too many things had come up within the last week, so I kept forgetting, and it kept pushing this further and further back. But the subject involves AI, artificial intelligence, and there are some really great robotics channels that are on YouTube, and you get to learn about modern robotics and AI learn about the AI intelligence level, which, is exponentially growing every day. So, um, Elon Musk has stated that, he fears AI more than any kind of nuclear war because if anyone were to want to press that button, it would probably be an AI system because, I mean, picture a situation where you program a robot to basically clean up the house or clean our air or something like that. The AI will discover that the problem with the air is the smog and the pollution caused by humans. So if its overall goal is to clean the air, it might, completely clean us out, and because it's performing its function, it's doing what it's supposed to do. So AI has come up with a way now to basically simulate the dead by installing every available word and content of anyone to create this algorithm for what that person living or deceased can be recreated through text and theory, so you can actually speak with the dead. So basically, it's programming. It's programming Nana or Grandpa or Pop, anyone. They're figuring out ways to basically program this robot to know everything that person knew, and it's supposed to help with the grieving process. In my opinion, this is a terrible idea because you're texting and in theory you're speaking with the dead. This is a very bad idea in my opinion. I'm no doctor, but I just can't see a positive outcome when it comes to the grieving process with ordinary human beings. We can't truly grieve and get past a stepping stone in life that, death is a part of life and it's an experience of its own, and it's also an experience for the living that witnesses the dead. So it's a very strong emotional connection, and what's gonna be really sad and scary is that you know people have a hard enough time accepting reality for what it is now. People already have it way too complicated for the regular world now. So, when you have military bases that are saying that, the new recruits are weaker and they have less testosterone than we've ever had. A lot of them, uh, American born and bred citizens that are either too heavy, too fat, or too scrawny. So it's like either you're too fat to go through the boot camp system, or you're too weak, and so you can't even do a proper 50 push-ups because your bone density can't handle it, and so you literally break your arm just fucking doing a push-up. I mean, that's sad. And they even talked about their bones being more brittle, like bones are softer now. And it's because we don't have this larger threat that other animals do. Every animal other than humans has its higher, um, has it everybody has their place on the food chain. You have the pyramid, and somebody's got to be on the bottom of it. But when you get up to being the highest on the food chain, we don't have that existential threat. We don't have a predator to worry about anymore because we're all sheltered. um, we don't have to live the lives that our ancestors did, so our bodies are showing that. And so again, this is coming from me, not any doctor that I'm aware of, but it just seems to make sense that we develop through evolution, and we evolution is developed through trial tribulation effect. So why do fish have gills? Well, because they're underwater and they have to breathe, so they eventually evolved gills. um so my point about that is, when you have a military of very underqualified people, then we are going to have to start looking at AI and alternatives to weaponry and even soldiers. We're getting to the point now where a lot of it's going to be like drone warfare. It's going to be like, excuse me, some of the capabilities of these weapons are just insane. They're just insane. Like, we've come so. I mean, when it comes to weapons and the technology in weapons, it's fucking night and day of what we can do now. So my whole point about the installing every available word and context of anything that this person has said or done to create an algorithm for this living, it's not a living thing, it's a robot that has all the knowledge of your loved one that you haven't gotten over. So you're speaking with this machine that's speaking back to you as if it was your loved one. That is awful for the human experience, because then you're going to have people that never really let go of anybody. Death is a huge milestone to life. We all have to get used to it. At some point, you got to throw up your arm and say, dude, come on. It's like everyone has dealt with death. If you're watching this, you've dealt with death in some way, shape, or form. Whether it was a near-death experience, whether it was watching someone die, whether it was watching someone pass away in a hospital, going to a funeral, we have all dealt with deaths, even if it's non-human. I have had no major thing with my family, so I haven't had that hell yet. That hell does await me, and I don't look forward to meeting that hell of losing a very close loved one. I've lost a lot of friends, but family, that's a whole different thing. And since I am not used to it, I'm sure I'm not going to take it well. But that doesn't mean that I would want a robot to help simulate being, let's say, my mother, because I need someone to talk to. No, I'd rather go to a church and sit down and talk to my mother there, because even though I'm not religious, I believe in, I'm agnostic. I believe there's something else, that there has to be. But I'm I have no idea what it is. And so, how can we truly grieve and get past this major stepstone in life that we all have to deal with at some point? Not only are you robbing a human being of the human experience, but you're also altering and hindering the way this particular person's ability to handle other types of loss in the future. So I can't see this ending well for anyone. I can see this just being more problems than anything. Um, AI is a huge and awesome development, and it's just a testament to our own creative genius, and uh, it's a human triumph. It's something that we thought in theory, but now it's literally here, and we have it. You know, I know I give a lot of hate out to the videos where you have somebody reacting to something, like a song or something, and I always say it's just pointless content that shouldn't be on anything. It's just, wow, you learned a new song. Congratulations. A lot of times they're well known songs that you should have known that song anyway, and if you didn't, then why do I care how you respond to it? I guess I get the old people listening to Slipknot thing. That's kind of funny, because it's a generational issue. I am not an ageist. I think that's actually the only type of ism that is still allowed this day. You have such racism, you know. I don't have racism and issues in my life, whatsoever. Um, I mean, I do and don't. I get stopped by cops more than your average white boy's gonna get. Um, but I don't deal with racism on a daily basis, and sexism. I'm not a sexist, so I don't deal with that either. But ageism, I think is. I'm surprised that there isn't a group of people standing up for the elderly, because there's this antiquated notion that once you pass a certain age, you become pretty much useless to the common cause, I guess you would say. That's not true. Like I said about being in jail, the first thing I'm gonna do is hang out with old people. They're the old timers, the old schoolers, because they've been there and they've seen everything. And as a kid, I always respected my elders, but I always looked up to certain ones because I never felt like a kid. I know I've acted like one. And, like, I remember being 16 and saying, constantly in my head, come on, man, we're 16. We should totally do this. We can get away with it. And that just isn't the same feeling I have anymore. Too old for that. Um, so yeah, I think it's a it's the same thing as going to a palm reader or Sylvia Brown. The woman used to be on Montel Williams all the time. She was a complete charlatan and total phony, and she was always on Montel and had the balls to tell this one family her daughter was dead, and they even mourned this poor girl, and then they found her 10 years later, and now Sylvia's dead, but somehow she didn't see that coming. That's funny. Come on, I'm sick. Give me a break. Um, yeah. So let's go ahead and look up the notes to see if we got anything else. Other than that craziness, Illinois has added 180 new laws for 2023, and most of them probably won't impact us whatsoever. Um, I was a big advocate for the no cash bail system, and I know I did an entire episode on that. And you know, speaking of topics that I really wanted to get to, um, one thing that's bothered me the most about the um, I'm sorry, someone came into our message feed. Hi, I want to offer promotion to your channel. Thank you. You could have put that in my inbox, but appreciate it. Sure. We'll talk after the show. Um, so anyway, I was saying, speaking of topics, um, I had been watching this it was this video on YouTube I posted on my Facebook, um, and it showed this comedian, and the comedian himself, his mom's white, his dad's or his mom's white, his dad's black, and or his mom's black and his dad's white, one or the other. He's a mixed racial kid, but he has a joke where he says that. Well, anyway, the point was that this comedian was doing his shtick, and this girl out of fucking nowhere starts freaking out at him, calling him a racist. Nobody in the crowd understood what was going on, or what was even said that was quote unquote racist. So the guy's like, "What are you talking about?" You know, and he had some good comebacks for it. You know, but it was a heckler that wasn't even there to heckle. But it's if you're going to a comedy club and you're looking to get, um, you know, you're looking to get offended and you're looking for someone to point a finger at, of course, a comedy club is going to be the easiest target in the world. But to me, comedy and a comic club is a oasis. It's a fucking escape from the real world, and not even an escape from the real world, but it's like a little safe place for people that can say, God, this is fucking stupid, and I hate this shit. You know, I don't like this system. I don't like anything about what goes on these days. You know, some of us really don't want to be a part of it. Um, so, this woman freaks out at this comedian. And so, this is what it's come down to. Uh, like I said, the woman had freaked out about a joke that was not even racially related. She just wanted something to say back. This person was obviously very confused, and it just shows that this is what we have come down to. With all the PC, woke, cancel culture, crystal collecting, flat earth believing, celebrity worshipping bullshit that people have been spoon fed and spoon fed. And this woman was so goddamn confused, she had no idea why she was angry. She doesn't know why she's mad. I'm sure it had nothing to do with the comedian himself. And uh yeah, I mean, you could keep all that bullshit and live in a ziplocked, safe Ziplocked safe space. But the moment you step out of your fucking Ziploc bag, the world is out there, okay? And you, speaking to this specific woman and anyone like her, you are not ready for it yet. And this woman had to be in her 30s at least her late 20s. And I want to say her 20s, maybe 30. 30 tops. So it's like you had to have been around for a little while, you know? It's pathetic. Uh, Censorship was a problem that was so old and a problem that was long ago. I honestly thought after the cases with Frank Zappa and guys like Chris Novoselic, who helped fight for the Eminem Marshall Mathers LP album to be released because they wanted to basically not release it because of its dark lyricisms. And you have Chris Novoselic, the bass player from Nirvana, there to fight for it and say, no, man, it's art. You can't censor it. So, honestly, I thought we were done with that back then. I mean, you had people like Dee Snider fucking call them out and call them idiots. You had Frank Zappa call them out and squash this shit, calling them idiots. And so, you had these morons like Tipper Gore that were just trying to just cancel anything they didn't want to hear. And America has its First Amendment. It's the first fucking thing on our list that says that our speech is ours and we get to say whatever the fuck we want. Now, how you want to put that on television, that's up to the FCC, which, in my opinion, is just a bunch of fucking, middlemen that just stand in the fucking way of true progression. And, censorship was such an issue that I thought it also died when TNT started allowing the word shit, when basic cable started allowing the word shit. And South Park made that joke, and they had the word shit done like 300 times or whatever. They even had a shit counter for every time they said the word shit. And yeah, I thought we were making progress, Irreverence was the norm in the late 90s and 2000s. And I'm sorry, were we too much for you? That you just can't handle that shit? Because, we had from Jerry Springer's show having fucking Ku Klux Klan members getting beaten up by fucking Black Panthers and shit. Dudes hitting dudes with chairs and shit. Irreverence was fucking king. And people were just trying to outdo each other all the fucking time. So I thought we were making progress. And then 2017 happened. You had Trump coming president, and the country lost its goddamn mind right after that. Because, if you look at the America right now and look at the America in 1999, it's a very different perception. And we need to get our fucking strength back. And stop being so fucking weak. And I don't mean that in a military perspective. I just mean people themselves need to fucking buck up and learn to deal with life, because you're an adult and nobody is gonna fucking put any goddamn styrofoam on the corners of the table so you don't bump your head on it, okay? We can't baby-proof adult life, okay? And that's what you're doing. So that way we are completely lost without any sense of critical thinking and rationality. More importantly, we need to get our sense of humor back. That is one of the biggest things that I came from a generation where, like I said, irreverence was a competition, constantly uh, one upping each other. And now we have regressed to the times where it seems like we're at the point where, like, Don Rickles and Lenny Bruce wouldn't fit in this world, you know? And I mean, I did a lot of stand up. Um, I did a lot of stand up during my 20s and my mid 20s. I was around the time I slowed down, but there was a good amount of time where I was loving stand up comedy. But it was getting very clear that the crowds weren't the same crowds that they were before. And it was just starting to. It was so. Actually, it's not that passive. I'm making it smaller than it is. Because actually, you know, 15 years ago, where I did stand up all the time and was just happy because of the crowds, now it's like this terrible amount of sensitivity where you are already you're in a fucking comedy club and the comedian has to walk on eggshells. No, motherfucker, he's the one with the microphone. The crowd has no power, and that's the whole point. Is that the you know you don't just take that away. And comedy is a reflect is kind of like if you ever been to a carnival or like a little playhouse. It's like a carnival mirror. If you ever been to a carnival and you go check out the mirrors, it's like a carnival mirror. It's funny looking, but it's still a reflection of whatever's in front of it. And that's what comedy is. Comedy is that mirror showing society what it has become. Now, we do it in a funny way, but it's nevertheless a reflection of society and what we are. Okay? And that's why the most honest fucking art form out there is probably comedy. Alright? That's my time. Love you guys. Appreciate spending some time with me. And go ahead and hit us up over on uselessagentmusic@gmail.com. And as always, we will see you on the other side. Enjoy the end of Glycerin, because I think this is the last time I'll be putting it up, alright? So, yeah. Love you guys. Take care of each other, alright? Peace. And check out this new guy. We got a new band from Chicago, Illinois, stealing other people's songs. Enjoy the rest of Glycerin. There you go.